Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into one of the most shocking developments in the ongoing war between Russia and Ukraine. A massive Ukrainian strike that hit a Russian warship inside what Moscow once called its safe zone. This moment marks a turning point in the naval battle of the Black Sea, and it shows just how much the balance of power is shifting. What was once considered untouchable Russian territory is now under direct threat. Ukraine's bold move didn't just damage a ship. It shattered the illusion of safety that Russia had built around its fleet. The story begins in the Black Sea, where Russia's naval dominance has been a key part of its war strategy since the invasion began. The Russian Navy, particularly the Black Sea Fleet, was believed to be protected by layered defense systems, coastal missile batteries, and advanced radar networks. But in recent months, Ukraine has made it clear that no Russian vessel is truly safe. Using long-range precision strikes, naval drones, and Western-supplied missiles, Kyiv has managed to push Russian ships further and further back. The latest strike, however, goes beyond anything seen before. It hit deep inside what Russia claimed was a safe zone, an area heavily guarded and supposedly out of Ukrainian reach. When Ukrainian forces managed to strike that warship, the symbolism was undeniable. It wasn't just another battlefield victory. It was a direct message to Moscow that their so-called secure bases and naval shelters are now within Ukrainian range. Reports indicate that the ship was hit with high-precision missiles, likely a combination of Western-made Storm Shadow or Scalp cruise missiles, known for their long-range accuracy. These missiles can travel hundreds of kilometers and strike targets with pinpoint precision. According to satellite imagery and initial intelligence leaks, the strike caused significant damage, possibly rendering the warship inoperable. This event underscores Ukraine's growing capability to strike far beyond the front lines. The evolution of Ukrainian tactics has been astonishing. At the start of the war, Russia controlled the sea and used it to launch missile strikes and supply its forces. Ukraine, with no real navy left, had to rely on ingenuity and technological innovation. What began with small drone boats and hit-and-run attacks has now evolved into coordinated precision strikes on Russian assets in supposedly impenetrable zones. The message is clear: geography and distance no longer protect Russia the way they once did.
The psychological impact of this strike is just as powerful as the physical damage. Russian military bloggers, usually supportive of the Kremlin, have openly criticized the lack of naval defenses. Many are asking how Ukraine was able to hit so deep inside Russian-controlled waters. The Kremlin, as expected, has downplayed the incident, calling it a minor accident or enemy propaganda. But the satellite images, independent analysts, and even some Russian insiders suggest otherwise. The warship's condition, partially submerged and blackened by fire, tells a story the Kremlin can't easily hide. This latest attack adds to a growing list of humiliations for Russia's once feared Black Sea Fleet. Over the past year, Ukraine has sunk or severely damaged multiple Russian ships, including landing vessels, missile carriers, and even the Moskva, the fleet's flagship. Each time, Russia claimed to have the situation under control. Each time, Ukraine proved them wrong. The safe zone strike is simply the latest example of how Ukraine has transformed asymmetric warfare into a deadly art form. Without a large navy, Ukraine has learned to use precision, intelligence, and surprise as its greatest weapons. What's particularly interesting is how this strike could change the strategic situation around Crimea. Russia has long used the peninsula as a launch pad for naval and air operations. Its ports, including Sevastopol and Feodosia, were considered safe havens for warships. But now, with Ukraine hitting deeper into those areas, Russia faces a dilemma. It can either continue to risk keeping ships there or retreat further east, limiting its operational range and effectiveness. Every kilometer the fleet moves back is a victory for Ukraine and a blow to Russia's military logistics. Western intelligence sources believe that Ukraine's expanding strike range is largely thanks to advanced targeting data, better satellite support, and more precise long-range missiles. The integration of Western technology has dramatically improved Kyiv's ability to locate and destroy targets that were once off-limits. In addition to cruise missiles, Ukraine's growing use of sea drones, small unmanned boats packed with explosives, has proven devastating. These drones are cheap, fast, and nearly impossible to detect until it's too late. Combined with the electronic warfare tactics and decoys, they've given Ukraine an edge few thought possible.
Inside Russia, the reaction to the strike has been a mix of shock and denial. Some Russian commentators are demanding stronger coastal defenses and accusing the Navy of negligence. Others are warning that Ukraine's ability to strike deep into Russian territory is proof that NATO's involvement is growing. The Kremlin has tried to use that narrative to justify further escalation. But even Russian citizens are beginning to question why their multi-billion ruble defense systems can't stop a small neighboring country from hitting them so effectively. The propaganda machine is running over time, but the truth is becoming harder to hide. Meanwhile, in Ukraine, the mood is triumphant. Officials haven't confirmed every detail, but they've hinted strongly that the operation was a success. Military leaders see it as part of their broader effort to weaken Russia's military infrastructure and prepare for larger offensives. By crippling Russia's naval capabilities, Ukraine not only protects its coastline but also disrupts the enemy's ability to launch missile attacks from the sea. Every ship destroyed or damaged reduces Russia's firepower and forces it to spread its defenses thinner across the region. The impact also extends to Russia's allies and rivals. Countries like China and Iran, who have been watching the war closely, are learning valuable lessons about modern warfare. The strike on a safe zone warship shows that traditional defenses and old military doctrines are no longer reliable in the age of precision-guided weapons and autonomous drones. Warfare is evolving, and Ukraine's adaptability has turned it into a case study for militaries around the world. This war isn't just being fought with tanks and soldiers. It's a technological race where creativity can outweigh raw power. For Putin, this strike is yet another humiliation. His promises of total control, military superiority, and invulnerability have all been challenged by a smaller, determined enemy. The image of a burning Russian warship in what was supposed to be protected territory is a symbolic blow to his regime. It raises questions about the competence of his generals and the true condition of Russia's armed forces. As the war drags on, each failure chips away at the myth of Russian invincibility that Putin has tried so hard to maintain.
In the coming months, this attack could have significant consequences. Russia may attempt to reinforce its naval bases, deploy more air defenses, or even retaliate with larger strikes on Ukrainian infrastructure. But doing so will only stretch its resources thinner. Ukraine, on the other hand, will likely continue its campaign of targeted attacks, focusing on high-value assets that cause maximum disruption. If Kyiv continues to demonstrate that nowhere is safe for Russian ships, Moscow could lose its grip on the Black Sea entirely. That would be a historic setback, one that could reshape the course of the war. Another key factor in Ukraine's success is intelligence. These strikes require precise information about ship locations, movement patterns, and defensive systems. It's believed that Ukrainian forces are working closely with Western partners who provide real-time data through satellites and surveillance aircraft. This collaboration has turned Ukraine's limited arsenal into a highly effective strike force. Every successful hit weakens not just Russia's military, but also its global reputation as a dominant power. The Russian public has also been affected. As images and reports circulate online, even heavily censored Russian media can't fully contain the truth. People are seeing the cracks in their government's narrative. The idea that Russia's military might is untouchable has been shattered. Families of sailors demand answers, while critics question how long this war can go on before the costs become unbearable. The Safe Zone strike isn't just a military event, it's a psychological and political one, shaking confidence in the state itself. Internationally, Ukraine's growing success in the Black Sea has boosted its diplomatic standing. NATO countries have praised the operation, viewing it as proof that supporting Ukraine pays off. Each victory strengthens calls for continued aid and weapon deliveries. It also increases pressure on Russia's global partners, who now see that Putin's grip on the region isn't as firm as once believed. For nations sitting on the fence, this kind of operation sends a clear message: Russia can be challenged and it can be beaten. Strategically, the Black Sea is now one of the most contested regions in the world. For centuries, control over it has been vital to Russia's trade, energy exports, and military reach. Losing dominance there would cripple its ability to project power beyond its borders. Ukraine understands this perfectly, which is why it's targeting ships, docks, and supply depots. By striking where it hurts most, Ukraine is forcing Russia into a defensive posture. Every missile launched and every ship destroyed changes the strategic map a little more.
Despite the chaos, Putin continues to portray confidence. He insists that the war is going according to plan and that Russia's defenses remain strong. But behind closed doors, military analysts and insiders are reportedly panicking. Rebuilding damaged ships and replacing destroyed ones could take years. The loss of experienced sailors, combined with declining morale, makes recovery even harder. Ukraine knows this and continues to exploit every weakness. The safe zone strike may just be one attack, but its ripple effect will last much longer. Ukraine's success also reflects the rise of a new military doctrine, one that values agility, precision, and adaptability over brute force. While Russia relies on outdated Soviet-era strategies, Ukraine embraces innovation. Whether it's drone warfare, cyber tactics, or hybrid operations, Kyiv's military leadership has proven that creativity can outsmart even a larger opponent. This latest strike is a perfect example of how modern warfare favors intelligence over intimidation. As this story develops, the world is watching closely. The question now is how Russia will respond. Will it attempt to retaliate with massive strikes? Will it move its fleet even further away from Ukrainian reach? Or will it finally realize that the war it started is no longer one it can control? Whatever the answer, one thing is certain: the myth of Russian naval superiority has been broken. The Black Sea, once considered Moscow's fortress, is now a battleground where Ukraine has the upper hand. For Ukraine, this moment represents not just a military win, but a symbol of resilience. Against overwhelming odds, it continues to strike back, proving that determination and innovation can defeat even the most powerful aggressor. The hit on Russia's safe zone warship is a message not only to Moscow but to the entire world, that no empire, no matter how mighty it seems, is beyond vulnerability. And as the war continues, each strike, each breakthrough, and each act of defiance brings Ukraine one step closer to reclaiming its freedom and proving that courage and technology combined can change the course of history.